Do you feel that you have power, or do you have power as Prime Minister? Do you have say in anything? And if so, what?
I have power. I have power to enforce in terms of my role, which is a shared role with the President.
Give us an example of what sort of power you have.
Well, I supervise all ministers. I formulate policy. I formulate implementation programs through a government work program, which we have all agreed collectively as a cabinet. So if there is no performance gap, then I follow up on those ministers to ensure that we do as we have said. And the results are all for all to see.
You still would like to be, at some point, President of Zimbabwe, is that correct?
Definitely.
And you will be running in the next elections?
Definitely. There's no doubt about that.
The President said that he might call early elections, perhaps even this year. Is that possible, and would you run?
Well, first he said, last year he said he's going to call the election in June. June passed, and he said that he was going to call the election this year in 2011. I said, no, you can't call that unilaterally, and it is going to pass. There will be no election this year. Now he has said that he's going to announce an election in March. Again, I must say that he has no unilateral legal position to announce a date of election without my concurrence. And let me say also that just recently he said, no, we have no intention of taking anybody by surprise who will agree on the election.
I have to ask you about this Wikileaks controversy that happened late last year. Wikileaks released some cables, not only of party members within your party, but also within the Mugabe government. There was widespread dissent within the Mugabe party, according to these cables that were released. And also it said that even within your party there were questions about your leadership and the people that you surround yourself with. What's your reaction to those cables?
I mean, it's a regrettable revelation, because they were never intended for us to know about what they were saying behind our backs. I'm sure that Mugabe feels as much betrayed as I am. However, in my party we have said that whatever anyone holds opinion about their leaders, they have one thing to do. If you have no confidence in your leader, you go to a Congress. We've just come out of a Congress, and all the 12 provinces around the country endorsed my leadership. So there may be individual opinions, and those opinions, we've just dismissed them.
But some say that those revelations were a setback to any kind of democratic reforms or democratic improvements in Zimbabwe. Do you agree?
No, I don't think necessarily that those revelations, they merely reveal the attitude which is held by individuals against their leaders. You can't stop. In politics, there is always treachery. But sometimes treachery which you don't know, you can't operate on that basis.
Tell us about your visit to Chicago. What brings you here?
Well, I'm here. We've got colleagues in the business community. Our mayor is having a bilateral discussion with the mayor here to try to twin.
Become sister cities.
Yeah, sister cities.
With Harare, which is the capital of Zimbabwe.
Is the capital of Zimbabwe, yeah. But also I think that the state of Illinois is a good state to cooperate with.
And you met with the governor's office, but not the governor, is that correct?
Yeah, the governor was not there.
Can you tell us about those discussions, what it is that you're looking for?
Well, they are at three levels. One is to ask the governor to support our global advocacy program on free and fair elections in Zimbabwe. To be part of that leadership, that international leadership that will call for that. But secondly, to have that twinning arrangements with Chicago and Harare. And the third is really to have a business-to-business relations as the country comes out of its decline. We need relations with one of the states in the United States, and what better state than Illinois? And
what sorts of industries or companies do you believe would be good for Zimbabwe that are based here in Illinois? Well,
there are quite a couple of them. First and foremost, we do have our agriculture sector to revive, our mining sector to revive, our industrial base, which really needs recapitalization to revive. So various entrepreneurs I'm discussing with to interest them to come to Zimbabwe, the tourism sector, to come to Zimbabwe and do business.
The World Bank and International Monetary Fund are both say that they're encouraged by what they're seeing in Zimbabwe these days. Your inflation rate is now down to single digits from that 500 billion% that I mentioned earlier. But they say that there's still a long way to go, that there are still many challenges. Why should anyone be investing in your company or in your country right now, given the ongoing instability, the questions about President Mugabe, the fractious relationship between the political parties?
Let me say that Zimbabwe is going through a phase. It's going through a transition which is painful, but it is a transition which is necessary, and it will provide the necessary political stability once the elections have been resolved. It's no longer about President Mugabe. I think across the political divide, Eddie, no one wants to slide back to where we were in 2007, 2008. Everyone wants to see the country move forward with enough stability and enough policy predictability. And that can only be obtained when the election has taken place. So we are preparing for that eventuality, that the country is ready to be one of the most prosperous, as you have stated, to be one of the most prosperous states in Africa. And also, I think on the back of Africa, the African continent is really the investment continent of the future. And we are riding because it is a new market, it is an emerging market, and it is really everyone who wants to make some returns on their investment to come to our country.
Do you have any assurances that the next elections will be free and fair and open?
I have no doubt the next elections.
Why do you say no doubt?
I have no doubt because I think there are a number of mechanisms that have been put in place. Firstly, there is SADC roadmap that has been defined. Everyone is committed to that. There is talk about non-violence. Daily, we are bringing all the leaders of all political parties that there is no violence coming next elections. We also are looking for a legitimate return to the international community of nations. There is no way we can continue with a country that is isolated, that continues to be a basket case.
The sanctions continue in place. And there have been also comments or leaks that say that publicly you say the sanctions need to end, but privately you say that they are doing good because they're putting pressure on...
How do you interpret my private opinions?
President... These again are the Wikileaks.
I think there is a mistaken view there. I am part of a government. I am bound collectively. I've sworn to uphold the decisions of cabinet. And the cabinet has decided that we need to re-engage the international community, the European Union, the Americans. And we are following up on those policy positions. And it is my duty to state again that that is the government position, and that's what I subscribe to. To
end the sanctions against the government?
Yes, yes.
Now, this time around, you're not visiting with President Obama, is that correct?
No, I'm not going to Washington, D.C. I'm going to New York.
Have you met with the president?
Oh, yeah.
And you've expressed these feelings toward him?
I've expressed these feelings. I hope that he will continue to watch our country from a positive angle, to see the progress that is, and to start engaging the Zimbabwean government on the progress that is being made, and to reinforce that position.
But he offered no assurances that sanctions would come to an end anytime soon.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the singular power. I mean, you know, your government here is determined by also what the Congress and the Senate do.
Yes, we've had some experience with what's going on there.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Prime Minister, thank you for being here. Perhaps sometime you can return as President of Zimbabwe and talk to us again about how your country is progressing.
Thank you very much, Eddie.
Very nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.